I've been playing Rust for over 10 years now, ever since Rust Legacy came out. During that time, I've made a lot of real friends in this game, found a passion and a hobby, and now I even make a living thanks to this channel and all of you. For me, Rust is much more than just a game, it's a big part of my life. But unfortunately, with every new update, this game just keeps getting worse and worse. And from the feedback I've seen, I'm definitely not the only one who feels that way. So this video is more like a message to the developers and my vision on how to turn Rust into the perfect survival game again. I kindly ask you to like this video and leave a comment below so that more people can see it and the developers really take notice. Let's make this game better together. And the first thing they need to fix as soon as possible is their anti-cheat system, because cheaters in Rust are a huge problem. And I can suggest a few really good ways to do this. The first method is the simplest and most effective one. Facepunch could just use another anti-cheat system, like Faceit anti-cheat for example. Yes, it won't be perfect, but in any case, it's much better than what's happening now. I don't know how much it will cost the company, but if the developers really want to get rid of cheaters, Rust needs a strong anti-cheat. Second, there should be 3 levels of premium servers, for example Silver, Gold and Diamond. On Silver servers, everything will remain the same. To play on them, you just need to have Rust skins in your inventory that are worth at least 15 bucks, that's all. To play on Gold servers, you need to spend at least 50 bucks on Rust skins or DLCs and have at least 300 hours in the game. And to play on the Diamond servers, you don't need to have any skins or a certain number of hours played, but you do need to pass the ID verification using the Rust app on your phone. That way, even if you caught cheating on Diamond servers, you won't be able to join them anymore from a different account, because your ID will be permanently banned. Also, I think that all official servers should have the same ban list, so if the player gets banned on one of the official servers, they won't be able to connect to any other server. And the last thing that will also help in the fight against cheaters is an AI assistant. We already have a wide range of live stats platforms that show all player statistics in real time on all servers. All they need to do is implement an AI bot that will analyze player statistics in real time using such platforms. As soon as a player starts racking up unusually high stats, or runs at super high speeds, or jumps much higher than usual, this AI bot should detect it and send the information to the server admins, and they will monitor the player. If he's actually using a cheat, it becomes obvious very quickly, so he gets banned, and the problem is solved. I guarantee that if they use all 3 of these methods, there will be practically no cheaters left in the game, and those who remain will have to pay a huge amount of money for cheats. Next, I think the developers should bring back the survival aspect to Rust and make it the main focus. Rust shouldn't be all about endless PvP and raids. It should be more about survival, atmosphere, and tough decisions, about the player's struggle against the game world. These days, players are most afraid of other players, but they should actually be afraid of the game world and its environment itself. That way, they'd be forced to team up with their neighbors to face the challenges around them. And I have at least 10 ideas that would definitely make this game much more interesting. First, we need a complete change of the mechanics of cold, heat, hunger and thirst. It should actually be more difficult for players to play when it's too cold or too hot. They'll have less vision, be slower, be unable to sprint for long periods, have more difficulty jumping, lose way more calories and water, and so on. Can you try to remember the last time you ran out of water or food? That's exactly the point. Water and food currently have absolutely no effect on the player, and in my opinion, that's simply not right, especially when it comes to a survival game. Next, they should change the radiation. Radiation should have real-life consequences, like making you sick and dizzy, and it should only be treatable with anti-rad pills and other special medications. This way, players will be much more careful when they come to monuments, which makes the loot on these monuments more valuable. Also, they should change a hazmat suit. The game should have two types of hazmat suits: the handmade one, which is currently available, and the industrial one, which players will need to put together from different parts, just like in the old Rust. And these parts will only be available in military or elite crates. If you're using the handmade suit, you can get into Tier 1 and Tier 2 monuments. And if you're using the industrial hazmat suit, you can get into Tier 3 monuments, like launch site and military tunnels. Also, even now we can see that the hazmat suit has tanks on the back, but they aren't being used at all. And I think the hazmat suit should have the same mechanics as the diving tank. If you want to use it for radiation protection, you need to fill the tanks with oxygen, using the first or second workbench. Only then will you be able to access the first and second tier monuments, but only for a limited time, until you have oxygen in the tank. And to get to the top tier monuments, you need to get all parts for the industrial hazmat suit, fill the tanks with oxygen, and maybe get additional filters, like in gas masks. Only then will you be safe from the radiation at these monuments, and you'll be able to take all the loot. I think this will make the loot from monuments much more valuable and make the game more challenging. Another thing they can add is mutated animals from Rust Legacy. They should only be spawned near monuments with high radiation and guard the entrances to the keycard rooms. If you think that this will make the game too difficult, then these animals could be added only for the Halloween event, to see how players like it. I think it would be a great addition to the other Halloween stuff in the game. The next big change is going to be rebalancing Recoil to make it more random, which should help get rid of macros and combat nerds. They need to make something similar to the first version of Recoil from 2016 Rust, when even the first bullet could fly to a random spot. Also, the developers will have to add a recoil control module to the game, which will minimize randomness and reduce recoil. However, it cannot be crafted and can only be found in elite crates. This will make PvP way more fun, because it gives new players a chance against PvP chats. Now, let's talk about how to balance large groups, clans, and solo players. First of all, I really want them to get rid of that stupid green UI and the group menu, and I'm sure that I'm not the only one who feels that way. The game needs to bring back the good old jump check. Plus, there are already a million clothing skins in the game that almost nobody uses, unless they're camo sets. But if you get rid of the green dots above your teammates, the only way to tell teammates apart from enemies will be to use skins. First of all, this will generate plenty of revenue for developers, as more players will be buying clothing skins. And second, it will benefit solo players by adding an element of randomness. So, in my opinion, it's a win-win change. And for those who don't have skins or don't want to spend money, they could just add armbands to the game, like in DayZ for example. The next change should affect quarries. For example, the quarry should break down after an hour of use, and to fix it, you need to find some repair components, which you can only find in military or elite crates. This won't let clans keep getting resources for free forever, which will help balance the game a bit. Also, I think it's time to change the upkeep system. For example, the more sleeping bags and beds there are in the base from different players, the more resources will be needed to maintain the base. Or they can make it even simpler. The more players are authorized in the TC, the more resources this TC will consume. Because the more players there are in a single base, the more resources they'll have, which means they'll have to spend more on the upkeep to keep things balanced. And finally, I think it's about time to bring back the old XP system and combine it with current blueprints and workbenches. Using the XP system, players won't be able to craft an AK in the first few hours after the wipe, because it's simply impossible. AK will only be available at level 40, and it will take at least 15 hours to reach that level. If you combine this XP system with the current workbenches, scrap, blueprint fragments, and research system, then the game will become more balanced. Clans won't be able to craft AKs just 4 hours after the wipe, making it much easier for solo players and small groups. Plus, it will make the game more logical and bring back the real progression. These are probably the only changes I'd really like to see in the game in the near future. And if you have any ideas on how to make Rust better, please write them in the comments below. Maybe Facepunch will use them in the future updates. And if you want to know even more about Rust, then to help you get better, or maybe to teach you something new, here are 20 mistakes that can destroy your progression in Rust.